Hey look, Harold Perrineau's in the credits. That probably doesn't mean anything. Now the flash forward is on Kate, who's finally being put on trial. Oh boy, a chance to do a Phoenix Wright parody. Sometimes this show is good to me. And you'll be seeing a lot of it because this has to be one of the sloppiest, most badly researched trial stories I've ever seen. She starts by doing the usual wearing sunglasses into the courtroom, which I've never understood. You think people won't know it's you? You're not Superman. At least things start out well, as she's refused bail due to, every single thing she's done for the last 5 years or so. And of course is just shocked at this because she's an idiot. How much of an idiot? She actually thinks she can win this just by taking the stand herself. And then the episode makes a big deal of her having a son to try to distract us from the crap we're about to see.
Does the defense have a witness?
Objection!
No, we didn't skip over the prosecution's witnesses. They're actually doing the defense first. This is such a basic mistake in trial procedure. Didn't anyone on the staff watch Law and Order? Kate's lawyer surprises her by calling Jack to the stand like she told him not to.
Objection!
A lawyer doing this would find himself in pretty hot water with the California State Bar Association. Oh yeah, this is all happening in California, so...
Objection!
Seeing as the murder of her father, the biggest crime on her list, happened in Iowa, why isn't the trial happening there? Jack says a bunch of crap about how Kate saved everyone's lives on the island and shits rainbows and lollipops, and oddly enough, this includes him saying that the plane crashed on the island rather than the ocean, like we know full well is the cover story. Yeah, this could just be an indication that he slipped up in telling a lie, but not one person reacts to this statement, so I'm calling it a plain old mistake. And as bad as all that was, here's the mother load. Literally, since it involves Kate's mother. Carole King and Jerry Goffin's biggest fan says that thinking her daughter was dead made her realize some stuff and blah blah blah, no one cares, and the upshot is she's now refusing to testify. And because of that, I swear to Dagon, this actually happens, and feel free to watch the episode if you don't believe me, it's on Netflix Instant. The prosecution's case is completely destroyed and they have no choice but to make a deal that the only punishment Kate gets is that she has to stay in California.
Objection!
At the risk of simply stating the blindingly obvious, her mother's testimony has no impact on anything except the murder of her father. Remember when she robbed a bank and shot 3 guys? And that's only going into the stuff we saw, as it's been made clear that she has a rap sheet a lot longer than what's actually been in the flashbacks. Couldn't they have at least thrown in a line about fruit from the poison tree? I know that's not what the term means, but it at least would have shown that someone put some actual thought into this. Well, the last flash forward scene is again the end of the episode, so it'll be back there. Locke gives Ben breakfast, adding that it includes the village's last 2 eggs. You'll want to remember that. Then he starts asking Ben who his spy on the boat is.
I feel for you, John. I really do. You keep hitting dead ends. You couldn't find the cabin. You can't make contact with Jacob. You're so desperate to figure out what to do next. You're even asking me for help. So here we are, just like old times. Except I'm locked in a different room. And you're more lost
Hey, that's the name of the show!
than you ever were.
You know, as much as his claim to be the good guy is bullshit, he's been making some darn cogent points lately. And this gets to Locke so much that he has a little hissy fit just like Ben did to him in Season 2. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. Kate refuses to move in with Sawyer despite clearly deciding to stay because of him, because she loves screwing with people that much. Told you she was Bella. Jack introduces Daniel and Charlotte to everyone else and explains what's going on. And what's Locke been up to? Well, right after running out of eggs, he killed Ben's chicken. Because when you're planning on living somewhere for the foreseeable future, the last thing you want is a renewable food source. Ben's looking more right about him all the time. Kate wants to talk to Ben, but Locke won't let her.
You may think this is a democracy, Kate, because of the way Jack ran things, but this is not a democracy.
Then I guess that makes it a dictatorship.
If I was a dictator, I would just shoot you and go about my day.
Okay, wise guy, then what is it? Are you just going for pure anarchy? Because that idea doesn't seem like it would work very well. Her plan B is to talk to Miles, who also wants to talk to Ben before he'll tell her anything, so not much help there.
Does Locke ever go out?
Hello, Canadian accent slip. This scene is all about the dramatic irony of Kate saying she'd be a crappy mother thanks to what we saw in the flash forward. No argument here. Now to catch up with Hurley, who's discovering the new level of hell that is Ben's movie collection.
Turn that thing down, damn it.
I've never pitied these people more.
Can I come in?
Sure.
Pretty darn presumptuous there, Kate. Bitch. Sawyer's smart enough to immediately figure out what's going on, and Kate admits that she wants his help busting Ben out. So Sawyer distracts Locke with backgammon, which we know from the pilot he can't resist.
And the rest of the group, what are they saying?
I think they're saying bye. It's a nice thing about sheep. They're predictable.
Hey, he said it, not me. Miles offers to tell his boss that Ben is dead if he gets $3.2 million within a week, and Ben asks why that specific amount to make sure we remember it. Now, this is kind of an odd one. Technically, we do get the answer, but it's done in a very subtle way that I highly doubt anyone picked up on when it first aired. Plus, it's really just another foot massage reveal, with the answer being so mundane that you wonder why they bothered to make it a mystery in the first place. Still, it's enough to not be put on the list. In return, Miles confirms that the people on the boat know everything about her and everyone else on the plane, and that's when Locke and Sawyer get back. Kate tells Locke what Miles said, and then he banishes her from the village. So remember that story about Sawyer getting kicked off the beach, which was deliberately ridiculous because Hurley made it up? Well, now that's happening for real. How exactly is he planning to enforce this, I wonder, because the only thing I can picture is that he really would shoot her in the head and go about his day. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel does an experiment with Charlotte that reveals he has problems with his memory. But that's something that might be interesting, so let's just brush it aside for Jack wanting to know why he hasn't been able to get in touch with the helicopter. So Charlotte calls Regina, who says that the helicopter still hasn't arrived. This is played up like something must be wrong, but I'll spoil things a bit and reveal that nothing is wrong, and this is just a cheap attempt to artificially inject some tension into an episode that needs all the help it can get. Locke sticks a grenade in Miles' mouth and pulls out the pin so he has to keep biting on it, kinda like that trap Leo Johnson was last seen stuck in on Twin Peaks. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and just for fun, try to guess how long it will be before we see anything more of this. Odds are you just lowballed it. Kate sleeps with Sawyer, and then they have this weird little conversation about her possibly being pregnant, and when she says she isn't, it becomes all weirder since Sawyer doesn't think they should raise a baby together. Apparently forgetting the whole part that it doesn't matter how Kate would raise a baby because she would be dead. You did a whole goddamn story arc about it, remember? Kate moves back to being in love with Jack like the slut she is, to which Sawyer gives what is pretty much my favorite piece of dialogue in the whole show.
Don't make this about me, Kate. You didn't want a baby any more than I did. You're just looking for some excuse to split, and now you got one. Well, that's all right, Freckles. I ain't gonna hold it against you. I'm just gonna sit right here in my comfy bed. Because in about a week, you'll find some reason to get pissed at Jack and bounce right back to me.
If only we were meant to be agreeing with it, which that slap makes it pretty clear we're not. Just the latest way these writers' intentions are completely at odds with the story they're actually telling. And now back to the flash forward where Kate comes home and greets that son we heard about.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, Aaron.
My score for Eggtown is 2 out of 10. I had really been getting into this season, thinking that the show was finally going somewhere, and knowing the end date had lit a fire under the writers to really do the best they could. And then this episode came along and reminded me of exactly why I'd come to hate the show so much over the last 2 years. The sheer lack of respect for the audience's intelligence in the flash forward is staggering, and the island story just comes off as one big attempt to put off showing us the boat, i.e. the part of the story we care about, for another week. Of course, the episode after this is the best one of the whole show, so that made me feel a little better.